It's the Go Mike podcast where the mic is gold, and this is a podcast. I'm your host, Mark Paul, and today we got Tierra Mack and Fox Soul setting up Dr. Umar Johnson using Cynthia G and someone named Hope Giselle. Okay, so Tierra Mack has a show on Fox Soul, and she had a panel of 4 people, which not including her, she would make 5, a panel of 4 people, to discuss a topic that is very, very, very important in the black community. And that topic was whether there's a war on black men. And she kind of opens up the show by talking about a little history about how, the black man was indeed, put in a bad place, through history, with slavery. And then she asked the question, is it going on now? So she brings Dr. Umar, which is, everybody know Dr. Umar. He's like a pro-black guy, calls himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism. So he speaks a lot of black power stuff. And then you had Dewan B., who is actually a comedian, and he is, I've known him from the Craig Facts show, so that's where I know him from. And he also talks, about like black power issues, etc., etc. And then the third person they had on the panel was a woman by the name of Cynthia G. And I've done a video about Cynthia G in the past. I've done a couple of videos. I'm going to link one of them here so you guys could go check it out, my video about Cynthia G. And the topic of that video about Cynthia G was the fact that she urges black women to abort their black male babies. And I was just talking about how idiotic that whole idea was. So you could go back and check out that video. It was probably about, a year old, maybe a few months old. But I just found it was real ridiculous that she suggests that black women should, still sleep with black men. It's okay to sleep with black men. But if you up and get pregnant, make sure it's a male, or make sure it's a female so that you can keep it. Because if it's a male, you need to abort it. And this is the type of stuff that she talks to her following about. This lady has over 100,000 subscribers on her YouTube, and all she does is spew anti-black male hate. And it's just sad. Like, even my wife can't even watch her, she's like a stomach ache, it's like what the hell happened to this woman? Like, who hurt her? That's one of the biggest things about Cynthia G that is very, 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 very noticeable, because the way she speaks about black men is almost close, is next to how a racist white person would speak about black men. And it's kind of sad that she has such a large following. She has a very large following of gullible, impressionable ears, people that is looking to have their feelings or emotions stroked by her words, because there is a lot of women out there that is been hurt by many men, so a lot of the stuff that she say probably really resonate with a lot of people, just considering the types of things that happened in their past. So some of the stuff that she says probably resonate with them. But when you really just look at what she does, is like there's really no solution. It's almost as if, the black community is doomed because there's black men in the community, and it's like I kind of wonder if she realized that she wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a black man. It's like, how do you think you were created? How do you think black women are gonna continue to be created? You gotta have a black man and a black woman come together and have a baby, right? But for some reason she feels like you are supposed to abort your black male babies if you up and get pregnant, but if you get pregnant with a female, it's okay to keep it. But all along, she's basically saying that it's okay to have unprotected sex with the black man. But if you get pregnant and have it's really, really dumb. And then the fourth person they had on the panel is somebody by the name of Hope Giselle. Like, I had no clue who Hope Giselle was until this panel. And my first impression from Hope Giselle was that they had a true smoker on this panel talking about whether there's a war on black men or not. I really thought this lady was a smoker, but there's a twist in this lady. This lady is not your average lady. This lady is how do you say genetically a man. So this lady is genetically male, and she was picked by Tammi Mack to have a good faith conversation whether there's a war on black men or not. And this Hope Giselle thing is a walking war on black men. And it's like, why would Tammi Mack put this combination of people together? On one hand, you have two black men that is willing to have a mature, good faith argument about what's happening to the black man, and then on the other hand you have a black man hater. It's like, it's nothing else to call her but a black man hater, and someone that appears to me to hate themselves enough that they needed to change their sex. So they had a conversation which really didn't go anywhere. With anything Dr. Umar said, Synthetic G had a rebuttal that just was immature. And you guys could go check out the exchange, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to just react to a couple of videos, one from Dr. Umar, where he, kind of reacts to the panel that I'm talking about with Tierra Mack. And then another one we're going to watch is a video from Hope Giselle. I'm guessing this is his response to Dr. Umar. So let me pull up the Dr. Umar video first. Here we go. And let's get into it.
Skin, my Africoid skin. As far as Cynthia, I'm not even going to speak on her. All I'm going to say is this. I hope my sister
You hear him? He say, I'm not going to speak on her, but all I'm going to say is this. Like, bro, you shouldn't even say you're not going to speak on her, because you definitely about to speak on her.
Deep spiritual therapy, because she was hurt by a black man in her life. I hope my sister gets some deep spiritual therapy, because she was hurt by somebody, and a black man hurt Sister Cynthia real bad.
And I believe that wholeheartedly. You do not get a person like Cynthia G. You don't, like, a person like Cynthia G is just not born. That's developed. Like, there ain't no telling what happened in that woman's life, starting with when she was just a little kid. But let's go ahead and continue.
And I love my sister. I love my sister, Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm not going to say nothing against you. Yes, you were mean and nasty, condescending and rude. You
You hear? So you guys got to go check out that video, because all of this stuff that he said, it is true. And you notice how he is still trying to give her respect, which I don't believe she deserves respect. I believe you should be calling her all types of funny looking bitches. I feel like she should be cussed out, but he's a lot better than me when it comes to things like that, because ain't no way I'm gonna be calling her a beautiful sister with all that ugly in her heart. But let's go.
black men, but I love you anyway, because you are still a beautiful African queen. Do you hear me, Cynthia G? You know what the G stand for? The G stand for go get some psychotherapy.
And that's a fact. That chick do need some psychotherapy. And just think about, like, she has 100,000+ following, and she spews all of this black male hate, and these people are really, like, soaking it up. Like in my last video about Cynthia G, like it was a year ago almost, or a year ago, and still to this day there's people in that comment section of that video talking about Cynthia G is right, Cynthia G is right, you black man this, you black man that, and it's just like, it is getting out of control. But let's go.
Cynthia G. The G stands for go get some psychotherapy. I love my sister Cynthia. I love my sister Cynthia. I ain't gonna say nothing to disrespect that beautiful African woman. But as a therapist, as a doctor of clinical psychology, and
I don't think it takes a doctor to see that there's something wrong with Cynthia G. Like, anybody that is just, like, I guess emotionally intact and is not bothered by, like, and they just look at Cynthia G, they can, she obviously displays emotions that are conducive to someone that has been hurt in the past. Like, like, there's no doubt in my mind that something traumatic happened to that woman. I would be surprised if, she just had this mindset, just willy-nilly, because I believe back in the day, they say she used to be for the black man. She used to speak, to try to uplift the black man, but for some reason there was a paradigm shift or whatever happened, and she just went to the wild side. But I truly believe that she went to this side because it's more profitable. It just seems like that on YouTube that there wouldn't be a lot of these content creators if it wasn't for the type of trauma that they recycle and distribute out to everybody, and it touched the people that are hurting the most, and it resonates with them because it sounds like you're speaking directly to them, but all you really doing is just spewing your hate and disdain out, and I don't think it's cool. But let's go.
I'm referring Cynthia G to the Association of Black Psychologists for some post-traumatic relationship dysfunction disorder. I said post-traumatic relationship dysfunction disorder. I said post-traumatic relationship dysfunction disorder. Post-traumatic romance disorder. She just need some therapy to process the trauma. She just needs somebody to help her process the trauma. But that
I believe that if anybody tries to help Cynthia G, she will probably just push them away because it's almost as if she already have her mind made up, and there's nothing no one can ever say to change her mind. Her mind is made up. You can't debate or have a good faith argument with somebody that already have their mind made up about a certain situation. But let's go.
My sister, and I love her. I'm not going to disrespect. I'm not going to disrespect.
You see this clown with the damn graduation hat? This nigga's stupid.
If I would have knew.
And this is the part where he is going to respond to finding out that Hope Giselle is a transgentleman. So let's get into this part.
I was on a panel with a surgically altered black man. If I would have knew that I was on a panel with a surgically altered black man, my conversation.
TikTok.
See, it is funny how people want to always discredit Dr. Umar, and I just want to point out something about Dr. Umar. He is literally standing in a building to where he calls it his school, but for some reason people are really trying to make this guy out to look like a true scammer because he got a lot of donations over a course of some few years to start a school. And I guess it's not happening fast enough for everyone. So everybody is like, oh, he doesn't have no school. There's no school after all this time. He still haven't done no school. Why he can't start? Why his school haven't opened? LeBron James started the school, yada, yada, yada. And time after time after time. And people always want to skip this part about Dr. Umar. And he's always somewhere at some campus that he always speaks about. He speaks about how he has 4 buildings that covers a whole block, but there's still black people that really still try to make him seem like he scammed a lot of people out of their money talking about a school, when obviously he got donations to buy a building. He bought a building outright. I believe, personally, I don't think Dr. Umar scammed everybody out of their money. I believe he did a lot of pandering to black women to try to get donations, which is cool because back when I was working retail, you had to kind of talk in a way to try to get those sales and to get people to sign up for a high interest credit card. You gotta kind of work your way in there. So I understand him trying to pander to a certain group that that obviously has some interest in him to get them to spend some money with him, but I don't think he did it just for personal gain, because he bought a property with 4 buildings. And I just personally believe that Dr. Umar bit off way more than he can chew with the school situation. I think he thought in his eyes that he can just buy a building and open up the next day, which, in a perfect world, yeah. But if you ask anybody, and I've been through this before, that you had a plan to get something done, and in your mind, you felt like that I'm going to do this, and this, and it's done. But, that's the plan. But then when you start out doing it, you run into this obstacle, and this obstacle, and this obstacle, and this obstacle. And then before you know it, you're overwhelmed with stress and stuff, and you don't even, you kind of get slowed down, and you miss the projected date that you thought you were going to complete it. And, it becomes, but like I said, I don't think he scammed everybody out of their money. I think it's just taking longer than what he thought it was gonna be. And plus, you got niggas that's impatient, that just, can't wait to just make somebody out to be just as bad as them, perhaps. But let's just get back into the video. I was trying to skip that ad and be slick about it, and I did. So let's get back to it.
Might have been different. My analysis.
See, he's in a gymnasium. That's my point. Like, there are people just letting him just go into their gymnasium. He obviously got to school people, but this is beside the point.
Might have been different. My critique might have been different. My insight might have been different. You want to bring a surgically altered male to the conversation? No worries. Because intellectually, nobody can handle me. Intellectually, nobody can handle me. So if you want to bring a surgically altered male, no disrespect, but don't you think you have a right to tell me?
Exactly. If you are on the internet, on an internet panel, like, everything's not crystal clear. And like I said, I seen something wrong with that so-called woman, but I thought it was just a smoker, like probably like a dope head or something. And like I said before, I was just like, why do they got this smoker on this panel asking whether there's a war on black men or not? But turns out, there's a reason why that Hope Giselle looked the way it looked. But let's go.
Do your guests have a right to be informed? That's all I'm saying. Don't have me thinking I'm talking to a woman. Don't have me thinking I'm talking to a woman. Don't have me think I'm talking to a woman. That's all. No disrespect. Just let me know. Hope Gazelle, I ain't got nothing against you, bruh.
He said, I ain't got nothing against you, bro. Ain't nobody stupid. Nobody's gonna play into that. Let me play dress up, and everybody is supposed to play along with you. Like, come on, bro. Yeah, so that was all I wanted to show you guys about the Dr. Umar video. But the Hope Giselle response, this is what we're really here for. So let me pull that video up. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So this is Hope Giselle, and just by this you can kind of see why I was like, well, is this a smoker or not? Because it looks a little janky. Like, if you really look at it, it looks a bit janky over there. That's all I'm gonna say. But let's get into the video of Hope Giselle responding to Dr. Umar.
Something that I think is a fundamental issue within our community is the fact that we are so willing and ready to walk away from each other than to figure this shit out.
It's like, bruh, if somebody talk, I'm gonna just joke a little bit. So it's like, if you start talking to somebody, you pull out a dick and you like, come on, bruh, like, they're gonna walk away. But that's beside the point. Let's go ahead.
But what really burdens your grits and what really makes you upset, Dr. Umar, is that you sat there on that motherfucking...
Look at this sick person just sitting there doing all of this and stuff like that. Like, why you gotta sex play the guy? Just, like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get through the video, but let's go.
Have that panel for an hour and a half with commercial breaks and all of that shit. And your little dick was jumping.
And look at that. Look how foul that is. Like, what if Dr. Umar went on his, on his Instagram and did a response talking about Cynthia G's pussy getting wet? Like, what if he got on there talking about her pussy getting wet because she was the way she was talking? I could tell she was agitated. You know how women. What if he got on there talking some stuff like that? So you got this trans gentleman on here talking about how a straight man's dick is jumping from conversating with them. It's like, what type of stuff is that? This type of stuff needs to be banned. That's a hate crime in my eyes.
Every time I opened my intelligent mouth, bitch, your little dick got a little harder.
And you see how out of line that is. It's like, I'm not even sure I'm gonna be able to get through the video. I haven't watched it. I knew this video was out, but I haven't watched it, and just from the few minutes, it's like it's already disgusting. But let's go. Let's try to get through it.
You were just so motherfucking enthralled with this black queen that was spitting this motherfucking knowledge, and even if you didn't agree with everything that I was saying, bitch, you was down for it.
And I want to point this out, bruh. Like, they're like, and typically when they choose a queen, they are talking about someone who is biologically a male. Biologist, like how sports is divided by biology. So you don't qualify to be a queen biologically, sir. But let's go.
Because when it comes down to the women that you claim that you like, bitch, on that panel, I was her. It's giving.
So this trans gentleman is speaking to, I don't know how many people is on this live, but this it got, what is that? 500 and something likes with 81 comments. So quite a bit of people was watching it. So this trans gentleman is trying to suggest that Dr. Umar, being a straight black man, was attracted to, I don't even know what to call it. I haven't asked it the pronoun, so I really don't know what to call it. I'm not saying her, because biologically that's how I determine whether it's a her or him. But let's go.
It was giving fresh face. It was giving no cleavage. It was giving, I'm not giving it to everybody. It was giving African kente cloth. It was giving all of the things, and bitch, I set it up that way for a reason. I didn't go in and put on lashes or overdo my makeup. I barely brushed my motherfucking hair because I didn't want people to turn around and say, you can only fool us if you have all of that going on. You can.
So that's it. I'm going to just go ahead and end it like that, because he just admitted that the whole purpose of him being on that panel with Dr. Umar, debating whether there's a attack on or a war on black men, his whole point for being there was to trick Dr. Umar into thinking that he's a woman. And it's like, what type of shit is that? It's like, why would anybody really go out of their way to try to deceive not just Dr. Umar? It's like, however many people watched that video is how many people that was deceived by this Hope Giselle. And I don't think it's right. I don't think that people of that ilk should be able to do things like that. I believe that there should be laws against things of that nature. You shouldn't be able to trick somebody into thinking that you're something that you're not. And I believe that this Hope thing knows that Dr. Oopsie, this is what you get, Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar, this is what you get for pandering. This is what you get for pandering, calling every black woman a black queen, black beautiful sister. This is what you get for pandering. Not everybody that looks like you is for you, and you should know that, being a mature man, you know, that everybody, just because we look alike, that don't make us the same. And the Hope Giselle thing just proved it. It may have looked like a woman on a camera, but in reality is not. And I think it's just disgusting that this trans gentleman whole point for being on that panel was to trick Dr. Umar into thinking that it's a woman and it's really a biological man. So I'm just so disgusted. I'm gonna just go ahead and just end the video like this. I know this is a horrible way to end the video, but I'm actually disgusted. So it's the Gold Mike Podcast, where the mic is gold, and this is a podcast. I'm your host, Mark Paul, and I'm out.